What's going on, guys? Come on in, take a seat, and just enjoy the freshness of this new epi of Media Madness, this new episode, bro. We're gonna take a look at the Monsterverse so far and lead up to Godzilla x Kong, the New Empire, releasing this Friday. I will be reviewing that movie, I will be checking that film out, giving you my 2 cents. I'll probably get ridiculed, but guess what, baby? I do it for you. So today, we're gonna go over this. Obviously, I'm gonna start where it all began. Godzilla 2014. This was done by Gareth Edwards, and in my opinion, this film's pretty good. This film is actually pretty great. Now keep in mind, I am not a huge, ultra hardcore Godzilla fan, so I can't comment on what's Godzilla, what's not, what really makes up this character, what really speaks of his lore, of his history. He has a very rich history in cinema and is loved all over the world. 2014's Godzilla, in my opinion, is a slow burn. I think a lot of people had a problem with this, especially when it first came out, that there was not a lot of Godzilla. Matter of fact, through most of the film, Godzilla is teased. Just as you're about to see him, they pan off. But what I think is nailed in this film, and what Gareth Edwards captured perfectly, is the scale of Godzilla. I mean, he really does a lot of camera work where it's us on the ground. It's a POV, what it would be like to have this Titan destroying a city, these Titans just battling, and I think he nailed it. A highlight in this film is the Halo jump sequence. It is absolutely breathtaking. I remember back in the day, they dropped the trailer for this, and that trailer alone of just hearing the breathing in the mask, seeing the lightning, seeing the flares, seeing the fire radiate off the skin of Godzilla. It was absolutely stunning, and still to this day when I watch the film, I'm on the edge of my seat. So really, I think this was a great kickoff to the Monsterverse. I think that there were issues. I think that the characters in the film were pretty hollow, pretty wooden, just not a lot to them, no layers whatsoever. I think they had a great cast assembled. I think Bryan Cranston, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, these are all great actors, actresses, artists. And the cinematography is fantastic, but that story is a little bogged down and the pacing is very rough. It takes a long time to get to the final climax, but it is so worth it. So it's a double-edged sword. I happen to fall on the pro of that, and I think it was definitely awesome, and I really appreciate that slow burn. Moving on to Kong Skull Island, I really appreciate certain bits of this film. I think that the coloring in this film is fantastic. It really has that 70s Vietnam War-like feel to it. It feels gritty, but I think in terms of Skull Island, which is what the film is called, I actually think Peter Jackson's Skull Island is way leagues above it. That also might be because we see more of Peter Jackson's Skull Island. I mean, his is like a 3.5-hour picture, and it's fantastic. I mean, you get bugs, you get dinosaurs, you get Kong, you get, in the extended edition, you even get Triceratops, you get like a fish-like creature. It's wild, man. It just screams Skull Island. You got the natives. I just wanted to see more fleshed out in this film of Skull Island. I felt that the skull crawlers were a bit weak, and ultimately the design of them were just weird and stupid looking. This film, though, however, does have a great pacing, and you do see lots of Kong. The film says Kong, Skull Island, and it delivers Kong. It's just Skull Island I wish would have been fleshed out a little more. The characters in this film, once again, just kind of hollow. You have Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, John C. Reilly, Samuel L. Jackson, and many more. Once again, great artists performing in this film, but I just don't really care for it. Although I wasn't a big fan of it, I do feel that they let Kong really make a good entrance into this universe. Moving on to Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Oh man, where do I start with this? Again, like I said, I am not a hardcore fan of these characters, so I'm looking at this through a different lens. And I know a lot of Godzilla fans love King of the Monsters. I absolutely cannot stand this film. Where do I start with this film? I mean, its runtime, it is way too long. I understand why it thinks it needs to be long, but it does not need to be that long, especially when you're trying to fill the screen with useless characters. Millie Bobby Brown's character is absolutely horrendous, annoying, forced. Her parents are just as bad. The mother in this film, played by Vera Farmiga, which I love her as an actress, is horrendously annoying. I love Kyle Chandler as the father in this movie. He's extremely basic, one note, flat, absolutely generic Titans in this film are great. I love seeing Mothra, I love seeing Godzilla, I love seeing King Ghidorah. But unfortunately, that brings me to the next bit. You can barely see anything in this film. They use a lot of weather to really break up the fight. It's really cool to see Godzilla battle King Ghidorah in the snow, right? Sounds cool on paper, but the way they did it in this is a mess. You can barely even see what's going on. And this is because they probably wanted to cut down visual effects costs, because if you do it in dark, you don't have to make the Titans as detailed. But unfortunately, it's just a jumbled mess on screen. Half the time I could barely tell what was going on, and it's just so unfortunate because the idea, like I said, of these Titans battling, so cool. I don't really have much to say on this one because honestly, again, this film is bloated, this film is messy, not only with its writing, but also with its visuals. You can barely tell what's going on in this film, and it's unfortunate. Moving on to Godzilla vs. Kong. Listen, this is a fun film. It's really cool to see these Titans come together and battle it out. You get basically 3 fights with these Titans going at each other's throats, and honestly, each one was pretty cool. My favorite being the Hong Kong battle. So cool with those buildings and those neon lights and stuff. Really, really cool. 9-year-old me is geeking out as far as just seeing a giant ape and a giant lizard man beating the crap out of each other. Cool stuff. But again, unfortunately, if you're looking at this as a film, I'm looking at this as a film, alright? Lay off my back. Get off my back. The characters are brutal, bro. Once again, brutal. Millie Bobby Brown is worse in this. She's even worse. Somehow they managed to make her worse in this. Just the story overall is really, really rough with its writing. The Hollow Earth bits. Like I said, calm down, relax. I don't know the history of this universe that well. I don't know the history, the lore. I'm going based off of a new general audience member's eyes. The Hollow Earth bit is stupid. I get that they had to do that to try and progress the writing, but it just seems lazy, and it actually just took me out where I was like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm watching like a Saturday morning cartoon Power Rangers film. It just felt really stupid. All in all, this film is fun with its fighting bits. That's what you're there for. You're there to see these Titans beat the crap out of each other. But there comes a point where it's like, okay, fun does not equal great. Fun does not equal good. Sorry, just because I had fun, I'm not going to excuse the poor writing. So honestly, Moving on to the recently released Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV+. This is currently on there. It is streaming in its entirety. This is actually a pretty great series. I really had some fun with this. Kurt Russell, come on, dude. If you're not watching it for Kurt Russell alone, get out. Seriously, this is a really fun series. There's some really great visual effects. The pacing's good on this. The story's still a little bit weak in this universe, but honestly, for a show, this is big. This is a very, very well done and polished show visually, and it has the same feel as the films, and that, in my opinion, is a win. Definitely check that one out. And honestly, guys, I think so far the Monsterverse has been pretty decent, but this is where the unfortunate news comes in for me. I think that Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire looks like duty, bro. It looks like a butt nugget. Doesn't look good to me. It looks like there's a lot going on in it from what I've seen in the marketing, and I don't know, man. I just got a really bad feeling about this. I know I'm probably gonna be bombarded in these comments by fans. I don't really want to get ambushed, but hey, you have the right to your own opinion. This is mine. We'll see about that. I'm gonna go in open-minded, and yeah, on Friday I'll give you my 2 cents about this, so keep an eye out for that. Give me a like if you're not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button, dude. Let's go, bro. I got your back on this, boy. Anyways, I'll see you in the next freshie. God bless. Peace.